The Dallas Cowboys defeat the Super Bowl champion Los Angeles Rams in Week 5. How did they pull it off? All that and more in this episode of the Locked On Cowboys podcast.
You are Locked On Cowboys, your daily Dallas Cowboys podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Locked On Cowboys. Locked On Cowboys.
Welcome back to the Locked On Cowboys podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. We'd like to thank you for making us your first listen of the day. We are free and available on all platforms. Today's episode is presented by Prize Picks. Prize Picks is daily fantasy made easy. Pick 2 to 5 players, and if they score more or less than their prize pick projection, you can win up to 10 times your money on your entry. First-time users can receive a 100% instant deposit match up to $100 with promo code LOCKEDON. That is prizepicks.com, promo code LOCKEDON. I am Marcus Mosher. You can follow me on Twitter at Marcus_Mosher. He is Landon McCool. Check him out on Twitter at McCoolBCB. Landon, how you doing today, sir?
Doing fantastic. It was a great win today. I mean, it's a tough game, on the road against a Super Bowl champion. All the hyperbole that you would put into this game, and they were able to come out with a fantastic defensive performance and win the game. There's some obviously concerning things coming out of the game for sure, but I mean, look, just from a 10,000 foot view, being 4-1 on a 4-game winning streak with your backup quarterback, it's hard to kind of come up with the excitement. Week after week, but it's fantastic.
So before we even get into the game, let's do big picture view.
Yeah.
When Dak Prescott went down on opening night, I remember you and I doing a podcast right after the game and saying, listen, for the next 6 to 8 weeks, you just got to stay afloat. Like, try to find ways to grind out wins, keep yourself in contention, so when Dak comes back, he doesn't have to run the table all by himself. I mean, Landon, we're past staying afloat now with the Dallas Cowboys. We're sailing, right, buddy? Like, this is legitimately one of the best teams in the NFL, right? I don't know how you can argue against it.
Just because if you look at where the state of the NFL is at this point, I think it's hard to argue with that too. Look, I think another element that we could say here is that imagine if the NFC East record wasn't the best in conference in football, the Cowboys could be in a really great situation.
Imagine if they played in the NFC West.
Seriously, like at this point, they would be dominating and have a multi-game lead. So, yeah, things have not quite. And I think this is something that we've tried to point out in the offseason is that unpredictable things happen in an NFL season. And that has come to bear this year. It certainly came to bear last year. And I think it's something that we just have to account for a little bit, that there's a lot of crazy variants that we're never going to just be able to anticipate year to year.
All right, we're going to talk about both sides of the ball. We'll make sure we do an in-depth kind of rundown on that. But again, Cowboys win this game 22-10. And honestly, later, the game couldn't have started out better for the Cowboys. Like, we talked about this on Friday. Like, hey, get a lead, allow your defense to kind of grind out this game. Cowboys were up 9-0 before they even got a first down in this game. They got an awesome play by Dorrance Armstrong to get a forced fumble sack that led to a DeMarcus Lawrence return for a touchdown. And then on the next drive, Dorrance Armstrong, again, that's going to be a theme of this podcast, blocks a punt that the Cowboys pick up. I think they get like 2 yards on that drive and kick a field goal. And it's like 9-0 with 14 minutes left to play or something crazy like that.
Yeah.
This team is figuring out ways to win these kind of games where your offense isn't great. Find weird and funky ways to win games, and that's what they're doing right now.
Yeah, look, it's one of those things where you got a backup quarterback. When that happens, you need a team effort. You need it to work for everybody. You need to have great performances by your wide receivers. You need to have great performances by your left tackle. Guess what? Cowboys didn't get either one of those this week, and they still won. And that's because how good the defense played. And the defense by themselves had enough gravity to carry this team across the finish line at times when the Cowboys seemingly didn't want to quite finish it the way that they should have. Kudos to the defense because it just answered the call every single time. It was, I think it was 5 drives in a row at the end of the game where, they're like, okay, great. Touchdown here, seals the game, game's over. Cowboys can't quite manage to do it, that may or only get a field goal. And you're asking the defense to trot out there again. Micah Parsons and DeMarcus Lawrence both, injured at certain points in this game, limping out there to go save the team again, and they do it every time. And it's just, and when Hooker's interception came on the goal line, it was just, I almost just expected. I'm pretty sure that Cowboy, I can't remember what his handle is, but I saw a couple different people just calling it because it just felt like, Stafford was getting hit so much, and he wants to do it. He's going to want to give that ball away. And the Cowboys hadn't gotten an interception yet at that point. So it felt like it was going to happen. And lo and behold, Hooker makes a play. So you cannot say enough about this Cowboys defense. It's just playing fantastic football right now.
I'll be honest. We're at the point where I need to start changing my expectations for this defense, because I'm watching this game with my brother and I'm thinking, all right, there's 3 minutes left. Hey, if they score a touchdown, just make sure it's under the 2-minute warning. And what do? They get a turnover. And then on the drive before that, it's, hey, just make them settle for a field goal or whatever. And that's the Malik Hooker interception. This defense we're past the point of them. We shouldn't be shocked when they're making these game-changing plays every single week, because they are doing it. This is not the Cowboys defense of 2017 and 2018, where when you absolutely need them, they let you down. That's just not this unit this year.
Yeah, it's crazy how slow you don't even notice it, like the transition in your mind of the expectation of, oh, please, God, just get off the field once this game. Please don't allow 47 points to, oh, okay, cool. We can hold them to under, 35, 30 points.
And this very easily could have been the game that happens, right? You're playing on the road against the Rams. We've got a Sunday night game against the Eagles next week. It would have been so easy for this defense to be like, you know what, this is just not our game. But no, I think they're the reason they won this game, because the offense essentially no-showed.
Yeah, I mean, we gotta have a conversation about the offense, but yeah, I agree. I think that the defense basically on their own finding way. Oh, no, not true. Special teams had a pretty good night tonight. It was outside of a one missed little hiccup at the beginning. I thought that special teams had a really fantastic
team win, because there were enough plays on offense to at least move the chains, put you in field goal positions, run out the clock. So overall, a team win through and through, and a very impressive one. Let's talk about the Cowboys offense before we. Yeah. Praise more of the defense. But before we do that, I want to tell you guys about Prize Picks. Prize Picks is so much fun. How does it work? All you have to do is pick 2 to 5 players. If they score more or less than their Prize Pick projection, you can end up winning 10 times your money on any entry. No competing against other people. It's just you versus the projections available. Prize Picks offers projections on, I guarantee you, any sport that you watch: NFL, NBA, MLB, NHL, PGA, college football, men's college basketball, women's college basketball, soccer, WNBA, esports, NASCAR, tennis, MMA, boxing, disc golf, Euro basketball, cricket, and more. Did I miss any, Landon?
I can't think of quarter snapping. I got
it. Entries can be made in 60 seconds or less. It is that easy. They are currently operational in over 30 states and in Canada. Download the Prize Pick app or go to prizepicks.com to sign up and play daily fantasy sports. First-time users can receive a 100% instant deposit match up to $100 with promo code Locked On. If you deposit 100, they'll give you 100. If you deposit 50, they'll give you 50. Don't forget to enter promo code Locked On at sign up for an instant deposit match up to $100. All right, we're going to talk more about the defense in a little bit, because geez, what an important performance by them. But let's talk about the Cowboys offense. Cooper Rush, 10 of 16 for 102 yards, no touchdowns, no interceptions, did have 3 sacks. Cowboys had 76 net passing yards in this game. But the story here was the run game. Tony Pollard and Ezekiel Elliott combined for 30 carries for 164 yards and a touchdown, including Tony Pollard's huge run. What did you think about the offense in general today?
I thought the running backs were fantastic. I mean, just both of them playing their role to a T. You need both of these guys, and it kind of showed at different points why you need both of them. But I think that if you can maintain that level of performance from those guys throughout the season, and just kind of, you're going to have to tack on a lot of touches early to Zeke. And then as the season goes on, you start to tend more and more to Pollard. You start giving him a little bit more of those snaps. You're going to keep Pollard fresh for the latter part of the season when you really want him to be explosive at his most. But then you're still going to be able to get a situation where he has, I don't know the numbers off the top of my head, but less than 8 carries for over 80 yards, I would say. And if you have it in front of you what he had, because it's just having explosive runs.
8 for 86 and a touchdown today for Pollard.
So it's just, it just shows you, like, when you can do that, and then on top of that, grind a defense down, it really helps with guys like Aaron Donald, who may line up over your left tackle and just be absolute monsters, just to kind of slow down some of their pass rush, and to control the clock. It's, look, clearly the Cowboys wanted to kill the clock because the passing game is broken in a lot of ways. They just need to find a level of consistency there that they don't have. And look, Cooper Rush has been admirable doing a lot of this, but it's
understandable, right? Like, you have a backup quarterback, and this is what happens with backup quarterbacks as games go on. Teams figure out, hey, this is what Cooper Rush likes to do. This is what he doesn't like to do. It happens. It happens.
Well, it's not even like they've necessarily been figuring him out now. They've had him. I mean, the Cowboys have struggled with third downs this whole time. And the fact is that they've been playing such good defense, and they've run the ball so well at times that it hasn't mattered. It hasn't come back to bite them yet. Now, next week we're going to play a team that it's probably going to matter. We'll see about whether Cooper or Dak's playing, but either way, the point is that the offense has got to improve on third downs. They got to find a way to be better there. But if they can, I mean, let's if they can figure this out at some point, with Dak coming back, you pair that with this defense, this team could be pretty dynamite going into the later part of the season. But we got to get there first.
Yeah,
we got to get there first.
I don't want to be too hyperbolic, but like, with the way the defense is playing and the short fields they're giving the Cowboys offense, if Dak Prescott just plays to his career average, this could be a team that's top 3 in scoring once again. Like, they scored 22 points today, and I think they lost yards on one of the possessions where they got the ball inside the 25-yard line. Like, you just start scoring 1 or 2 more touchdowns a game rather than settling for, 23-yard field goals. And that's the difference in scoring 30 points rather than 22. So I think it's there. And plus, this offense can be unlocked a lot more if the receivers start getting going. We should talk about the receivers because CeeDee Lamb had a couple nice plays. Michael Gallup had a really nice reception. Both those players had really bad drops on third downs that could have extended drives. CeeDee's in the fourth quarter could have given the Cowboys another chance at a field goal. Michael Gallup's drop early in the game, I really don't understand what was happening there. Wide open. That would have put the Cowboys inside of Ram territory. You got a backup quarterback. The receivers need to play a little bit better.
Yeah, again, like we said, you need all hands on deck, and unfortunately, the Cowboys didn't get all hands on deck, and they still managed to win the game. But that's
what's impressive, right?
They won't be able to continue to get away with that forever. And so you need specifically your skill players to step up and make plays. Now, they did that at certain points, but like
consistently,
you need to have a level of consistency, and especially on third down, you got to make the play for your quarterback who's under siege. That's just a tough thing.
And the thing is, when you have a backup quarterback, you just need to make the routine plays. Like Michael Gallup's catch, that's wide open. It was beautifully designed. Cooper threw a great ball to him. Just made the catch. CeeDee ran a great route and made the catch. You just got to finish through the contact, right? Like, just do the things that you're supposed to do.
Emory Hunt made a great comment on Twitter, and if you don't follow him, you definitely should. That Raheem Morris kind of was running up right on the wide of the sideline, and he thinks that he may have done that in a very kind of savvy manner in order to kind of give Gallup a bad peripheral vision on exactly how far he was from the sideline, which I think kind of contributed to a little bit to him kind of short arming it a little bit. But yeah, I mean, you guys have to make that catch. Lamb's got to finish that catch. He had his ball tucked away and it was done. He just needed to finish all the way through. And
he did the hard part. He got open and he made the catch. Just finish the catch. And you're good. I know we're going to have plenty of time this week to talk about the offensive line, but I thought Tyler Smith, this was It's a tough game for him. I think as a rookie, this has easily been his worst game. Gave up a couple sacks on a couple holding calls in this one. And as expected, they really weren't giving him a lot of help with Aaron Donald. Um, the Cowboys are very fortunate to get out of that game with a win, despite your left tackle playing his worst game of the season.
Yeah, and I mean, again, Aaron Donald's going to Aaron Donald. Doesn't really matter
Yep.
who the offensive lineman is, even with Zach Martin in there. So you're going to take a certain amount of those lumps where he destroys a single drive by himself, or
It happens.
It's going to happen. It's part of the equation there. But again, I think what this game does show you is that when you have the Aaron Donalds of the world, you have the Jalen Ramseys of the world, and that's your strategy team building. Look, you win the Super Bowl last year. That's obviously very good. You're seeing with the LA Rams right now the downside of that strategy. They don't have the talent deep enough at all spots to make up for the injuries they're dealing with. The free agent situation there wasn't as much of a hit as it had been in previous years, and they're sinking like stones right now at 2-3, losing to the Cowboys, who had a backup quarterback, at home. That's tough.
All right, let's stop being depressing and let's talk about some stuff that actually is going to make us really excited. And that's the Cowboys defense.
Yeah.
But before we do that, I want to tell you something that's super great. That's the new cookie dough built puffs. They are absolutely incredible. They have a light, chewy texture, real cookie dough chunks, like actually real cookie dough chunks on top, and they're covered in 100% real chocolate. The best part, they're actually healthy for you, as they have only 160 calories, but a whopping 15 grams of protein. Plus, I'm telling you guys, they taste absolutely incredible. Go to built.com, use promo code LOCK15 to get 15% off your next order. Use promo code LOCK15 to try out the new cookie dough chunk puff. Whether you need a snack for your workout, a late night treat, or you need a victory candy bar, protein bar, candy bar after the game for the Cowboys, go ahead and try out the new cookie dough chunk puff. Use promo code LOCKDOWN15 to get 15% off your next order. All right.
Hashtag victory puff. That's what I like that.
Yeah, well, I'm certainly gonna have.
I don't need an excuse to pop one, honestly.
Yeah, I'm gonna have
take one. Sure.
I'm gonna have one after this podcast because I'm excited. All right, let's talk about the defense. Yeah. Where would you like to start? We've kind of talked about the unit as a whole in this game. Should we start with Micah Parsons?
Yeah, I mean, might as well get it out of the way. Talking about this guy again. I mean, what a gutsy performance! Just to go out at halftime and to be dealing with the groin injury, and we'll see exactly what that situation is and how much it might affect him going forward. But obviously he was able to come back in and wreak even more havoc. It's just kind of adding to the legend of Micah Parsons. Two sacks, tackle for loss, the forced fumble, and just. The crazy thing I was thinking about it is this Cowboys defense is so good even without Micah Parsons, but with Micah Parsons, it's just at another crazy level we haven't seen before.
Well, and we saw it in this game. They went long stretches with Micah only playing on third downs or not playing at all, and there was a little bit of a drop off at times, but nothing significant. Right? It wasn't like he came off the field and you were getting gashed. It's what a luxury it is to have Micah Parsons.
Yeah, and I guess the way to kind of honor that even further is to talk about some of the other guys that really showed up when Micah wasn't on the field, and for me, this group of kind of lesser known guys that the Cowboys fans know of. Dorrance Armstrong, Odigizua, Neville Gallimore had a really good game. Sam Williams is starting to come on in a way. It's just it's impressive to watch these guys work, and they're all eating when they need to. And when Parsons off the field, they're coming on and they're not letting the defense skip a beat. They're keeping the pressure up, and that's the thing, right? Is that it used to be you would see DeMarcus Lawrence leave the field, and I'm talking about the past as a Cowboy fan. You would see DeMarcus Lawrence leave the field, then you'd hold your breath, right? Because it'd be like, God, who's going to get any kind of pass rush while we have backup defensive linemen? And now you see Micah Parsons or Lawrence leave the field, and Fowler's coming on the field. and Armstrong is getting another rep. And like the opportunity to see those guys, work is just as, I mean, not the same level as on Micah Parsons, but it certainly is such a higher floor of what you expect running. The depth that they have at the defensive line just across the board right now. It's just really impressive. And the guys, when they need a win, they've got 4 or 5 guys who can do it for you. If you can provide a one-on-one, they can do it for you.
I've got some early PFF numbers for these are probably going to change, but as of right now, the Cowboys, well, let me preface this. If a player has a 15% win rate or better, that's considered really good. Okay.
Yeah.
The Cowboys had 6 players on Sunday who had at least 13 pass rush snaps, who had at least a 19% win rate.
Wow.
I mean, it was incredible. Micah Parsons had 9 pressures. The entire Rams defense had 9 pressures on Sunday. I mean, you look at like numbers like Osa Odigizua had 6 pressures in this game. Sam Williams had 5 pressures on 13 pass rush snaps. Carlos Watkins had 3 pressures in this game. Like they just had a bunch of guys getting there. And I know I saw people complaining on Twitter, like there was a couple third downs where like the Cowboys didn't get a pass rush. And they're like, where's the pass rush? It's like,
yeah,
guys, they're not going to get a pressure on every single play. I know we were spoiled last week because they had like 150 pressures, but like we're just at a point that it's kind of crazy how high the expectations are for this defense.
Yeah, and I mean, I guess that's what you expect. That's what you get with great teams, right? Like, I mean, honestly, I remember when the '90s Cowboys were around, and the expectations were insanely high there, and honestly, the good teams deliver on crazy high expectations, and that's I think what the difference is this year from all the other years is that you raise your expectations a little and they meet them and they exceed them. And that's just such an unusual feeling for Cowboys fans, especially on the defensive side of the ball for a lot of them in a long time.
And I know people want us to talk about Trevon Diggs. I can do it really quickly, Landon. He gave up 2 long plays in this game, the deep ball to Brandon Powell and the touchdown to Cooper Kupp. Both were incredible throws, incredible catches.
Oh, yeah.
You're going to live with that. I mean, it didn't end up costing them. Those are really the only 2 chunk plays the Rams had all day. And I'm not sure it would have mattered what corner you had in there. Those are just great plays by the Rams, and you tip your hat to them and you say, hey, Diggs, you'll get it next time.
Yeah, it wasn't like, Trayvon was grossly out of position on either one of them at all. Like he was in phase with on the downfield situation. That was a beautiful throw by Stafford. And then when he's trying to come across the field with was it Kupp, I think? Yeah, Kupp, on the crosser. He was right there. He was just a tick behind, and Stafford put a great ball on him. And so
it happens.
It's just going to happen. He's not going to be able to defend every single pass, especially not in the league the way it is now with the rules.
And I will say those 2 plays are going to get everybody chirping on Twitter. But if you go back and watch that game, Diggs made 6 or 7 incredible tackles in the open field to limit some yards after catch, whether it was on like a screen to Darrell Henderson or on a play up top to Ben Skowronek. Like those plays kind of go unnoticed when you're a corner, but I thought Diggs was solid overall, despite giving up as many yards as he did.
Yeah, absolutely. And look, I mean, again, like I think he's going to be targeted more than the other guys because he's on the better guys, and it's not like he's there's certainly a point where certain cornerbacks are the ones that the quarterbacks are looking for every time pre-snap. That's not Diggs. That's never been Diggs. So, look, I think you're playing one of the best wide receivers in the world, certainly in the conversation toward. It's like that with it. It's like the Aaron Donald thing. Sometimes they're going to get you too. They're good. And look, the Cowboys still held them to 10 points despite all the yardage. So they're doing just fine.
Really quickly before we head out, DeMarcus Lawrence is playing the best football of his career. I don't even care that this is season whatever. I thought he was unbelievable, rushing the passer, stopping the run, making big plays. And then, hey, when you get an opportunity to make a play on the football, pick it up and score. Right? With the Cowboys offense, we saw all game was struggling. How big was it for him to scoop it up and score rather than settling for a field goal? Like, I know that kind of stuff seems kind of ridiculous to talk about, but that's what ultimately decides these games.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, finishing the play. I mean, that's what that's all about. And I think for Lawrence, he's just thrilled. And I think this is part of why and let's remember this and be thankful for this. That's why this is part of why Lawrence took a pay cut, basically, to hang around, is to help get more guys in here so that his job is not so hard. So he's not having to carry this group.
And you're seeing how much it matters, right?
Absolutely.
Now that he's not being doubled on every play and he's allowed to move around and get favorable matchups, he's dominating. Like he's playing like an all-pro edge rusher. This is the reason why the Cowboys paid him, was that after the 2018 season or whatever, like this is a truly elite player.
Yeah, and it suddenly his job has just been made a whole lot easier by the Micah Parsons, the Dante Fowlers, the Dorrance Armstrongs of the world, and add in again the Adigizuas, those guys inside. Tristan Hill, despite having an offsides, had a good game.
Really good. He was awesome today.
I just think that they found a great combination of guys who are all kind of coming into their own all at the same time. They added one or two pieces as well. Terrell Basham hasn't even sniffed the field yet. Not that he's like a huge addition, but again, like just to show you the depth that these guys have.
And he's supposed to be coming back either the next week or whatever. I mean, just another guy to rotate him.
So it just shows you like the benefits of having multiple guys to kind of rotate in. Again, it's not relying on 29 or 28-year-old DeMarcus Lawrence fighting through double and triple teams in order to please get a sack. It's
not, hey, we need Sean Lee Band-Aids and all out there, to save this defense. It's just not like that. And that's why I think they're allowing 14.4 points per game this season. Just absolutely
ridiculous.
We're going to break this all down all week long. So make sure you're downloading and listening to the Locked On Cowboys podcast. And we thank you for making us your first listen every day. Now make your second listen, the Peacock and Williamson NFL show. Brian Peacock and former NFL scout Mount Williamson give you the expert NFL analysis in less than 30 minutes. It's free and available wherever you get your podcasts, all the same places you would download our podcast. Please go check us out on YouTube. Subscribe over there. We'll be back on Tuesday with our All 22 review. I'm sure that's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Follow Landon on Twitter at McCoolBCB. I'm at Marcus_Mosher. Enjoy your fourth straight victory Monday.
Loving it. Let's make this a tradition, guys. Let's just keep doing this.
Yeah, this is a lot of fun.
Yeah.
We'll see you guys next time.